Joining us now to talk about his political journey and this and more, David Mamet, Pulitzer Prize-winning, legendary playwright, Academy Award-winning, nominated, screenwriter, director, novelist, poet, author. Check out his latest book, The Disenlightenment, Politics, Horror, and Entertainment, out wherever books are sold. David, thank you. First off, honor to have you right here on Newsmax.
Oh, good. Happy Sunday. It's good to talk to you.
So your initial thoughts on this, it's like a blood feud now between Trump and Musk.
Well, you know, the Romans said the anger of kings is always severe. So that's what we're looking at. He's a king, but he's talking to the emperor. And there you have. Eventually there will be some sort of rapprochement, but who knows where or when? It's all going to be fine. So the question, you know, the liberals are saying, "Mom, Dad, does this break up mean we're going to have to move to a smaller apartment and Susie won't be my across the hall neighbor? Maybe, but it's going to be fine."
You know, David, you were a lifelong Democrat. Your parents were immigrant Jews. You even called yourself a brain-dead liberal, but then you had an epiphany about the Democrat Party. What was that?
Well, I got thrown out. I wrote an article for the Village Voice. I had a play on Broadway called November about a president. Took place in the Oval Office. Pretty funny. And I wrote an article. The Village Voice asked me to write about the play. So I said, the play's about political civility. I said, I've even been uncivil to myself over the years, referring to myself as a brain-dead liberal. So then the Village Voice comes out the next week with the whole front page, David Mamet, why I am no longer a brain-dead liberal. And everybody on the left lost my number. As Sarah Silverman said, wait, it's my party. So I thought, yes, that's true. It's my party, but I was a goldfish in the goldfish bowl, and I was forced to look outside and look at what was happening outside the bowl. And I said, I got to figure this out. I said, what are these things that I've believed in all my life? This Rooseveltian notion of democracy, which is decayed into socialism. What does that actually mean? So I spent a few years sitting by myself reading and thinking. And I came up with the idea that, oh, there's two pretty good books written about how we're supposed to get along with each other. One of them is called the Bible, and the Bible, too, is called the Constitution. And it's a bunch of rules. And when we obey these rules, we have a better chance of getting along with each other than we do if we rely on our feelings and congratulating ourselves about being right-thinking.
You know, let's talk about Trump derangement syndrome, David. Congresswoman Maxine Waters said this about the president recently. Take a listen.
Dishonorable, deplorable human being. He's full of lies and deceit, and he's aligned with Putin in Russia. As a matter of fact, he should be tried for treason.
David, why do you think Democrats like Maxine Waters, AOC, Ilhan Omar, why is there so much hatred towards President Trump? And do you think it's deserved?
Well, of course it's not deserved. President Trump is a human being. He's been overwhelmingly elected. He's not a politician, and he threatens their livelihood. These people, H.L. Mencken said politicians are brokers in pillage, and to a large extent they are. And that's especially what the Democratic Party has said. They say, you know, if you give me X percent of your income, I'll buy a turkey at Christmas time. And P.S., if you don't like it, I'm going to have you doxxed and you'll never work again. So Trump and the American people, the electorate which voted for him, threatens these people's livelihood because they're living a lie.
People now say you're a conspiracy theorist in a way. You've kind of been shunned. What do you think? I mean, you believe in what the truth is. It's a funny thing about the truth. It always has a way of coming out.
Well, maybe yes and maybe no. But I don't know what, as far as being shunned goes, that's fine with me. But as far as being a conspiracy theorist, That's a great. Here's the thing about the left is, my gag is language. That's what I've been doing for a living, is looking at language and reforming it into plays and essays and so forth. And what the left has done is confuse people by inventing language. For example, we've just been the victim of a 4-year-long conspiracy, which was a coup. The government was taken over. The election was stolen, the government was taken over, and the facts are fairly clear. So to say that that's a conspiracy theorist means someone who's making something up. But there is actually such a thing as a conspiracy. So I don't understand. So if you for example, rather than saying there's racism, a certain kind of people are getting set fire to, they say, oh, no, that's not racism, that's simply anti-Semitism, which is somehow a subset of racism. And to say that, oh, it's not actually a riot, it's a protest. And right down the line, for example, to say that Perrine James St. Pierre and her Mary persons were talking about cheap fakes. Well, what they were suggesting was that the video was altered. But if you say the video was altered, people can make up their own minds and say, well, it doesn't look altered to me. So what they do is they invent a new word.
Exactly.
So that the one.
Yeah.
Okay, go ahead.
No, it's okay.
That's
We're right. They're telling me we got to wrap, but I want to get this one last question in. We have a minute left. Joe Biden, do you believe there was this massive cover-up people knew in the White House, but they wanted to keep him in to get Kamala Harris across the finish line? Do you think there should be accountability here for the people that played a part in this massive scam?
Well, of course there was a cover-up, but Joe Biden was a straw man. He was deluded from the time he came into office, and there was a committee running the White House. And I think it's even worse, as I said in the book, it's even worse than saying Jill did it or Hunter didn't. That's not true. I think what we're looking at is a committee that said, I tell you what, you can pull out of Afghanistan, but I tell you what I want to do. I want to open the borders. Oh, Jimmy, you want to open the borders? I'll tell you what I want to do. I want to have men play in girls' sports. Oh, dude, you want to have men play in girls' sports? I want to give $2 billion to Stacey Abrams. So what we saw is the people in a power vacuum cutting up the pie. The cat was away and the mice were playing.
David Mamet, thank you so much for joining us, sir. Again, an honor. And again, check out his latest book, The Disenlightenment, out wherever books are sold. Thank you, sir.